So this is an artist named Ben Caplan. I only know one Ben Caplan song, and it's one of my favorite songs to listen to. I listen to it at least once a day, both the studio version and a YouTube video version that I think he did with Mahogany Sessions or somebody that just does kind of acoustic stuff, and he just has his guitar in a park and he's singing it. And it's called Down by the River. I went down to the river, blowing out onto the sea. Oh, I love that song. God, he's good. But that's the only song I know. So as soon as I saw him, I said, I gotta give this cat a try. This is called The Flood. I don't think there's any sound yet. Here we go.
I wake up to the tolling of the bell, and I feel the water swell. It's been coming up slowly, rising, hard to believe that it's not surprising. I lost the foreground watching the horizon. The rising tide doesn't raise our boats. There's some of us who can't float. Some of us are working in the mud. Not being innocent, don't make me guilty. You can't keep your hands clean when it's filthy. See the water dimmed with human blood. There's no justice drowning in the flood.
Wow.
I wake up as the light begins to bend, and I watch the night descend. After a dutiful lifetime of dreams, trickling riches and muffled screams, the center can't hold it, gyres to the extremes. The rising tide doesn't raise our boats. There's some of us who can't float. Some of us are working in the mud. Not being innocent, don't make me guilty. You can't keep your hands clean when it's filthy. See the water dimmed with human blood. There's no justice drowning in the flood. The rising tide doesn't raise our boats. There are some of us who can't float. Some of us are working in the mud. Not being innocent, don't make me guilty. You can't keep your hands clean when it's filthy. See the water dimmed with human blood. There's no justice drowning in the flood.
Wow. That was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. It actually felt a lot longer. Credits? All right, credits. So, as far as my second experience to Ben Caplan, his voice holds true. That is very Ben Caplan on his voice. I think the song is interesting enough. I don't think I love it, but I think it's decent. Now, the music video is a different story, but as far as the song goes itself, it's not bad. It is fascinating. I'll give it that. It's definitely weird. Definitely weird, but like I feel like in a good way. And what I mean by that is, not that I really need to articulate this, but how do I put this? I'll give a lot of flexibility to somebody like Ben in a music video like this, because I can watch this and I can actually kind of envision me sitting across from Ben at the table or at a desk and be like, Ben, great video, man. Song's great. I mean, how did you do this? You know, to have a conversation. And then he could ask me and I'd say like, well, I feel like, you know, at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I felt like it was longer, but I honestly don't know if that's because there was no pacing to it. It was kind of a one shot all the way, not a one shot, but it was kind of mostly this entire thing for the whole video. Was it that, or was it the fact that I felt like I was holding my friggin' breath for 3 minutes and 30 seconds? I don't know. If I were a betting man, I would say it's because there's really not much to this video. It makes sense. The idea that he's underwater, he's got the piano that's been there for a very long time. You know, he talks about drowning in the flood. It all makes sense. But aside from the initial blast of him being under the water and playing on the piano and some of his facial expressions, once those were revealed, there was nothing else. You know, there was no upward climb. There was no change. There was no shift. Aside from the occasional black and white shot here, there wasn't much else, right? So there was kind of nowhere to go with it. Now, Ben does a really good job of trying to maintain the energy and pace of this with his expressions, his physical expressions, his facial expressions. And I do have to say, more than holding my breath, I was losing my friggin' mind with that hair being in his face the whole time. Because I'm thinking about him in this position while he's sitting there and he's playing. He's trying to lip sync the words, right? And the whole time his face is covered. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of the video. So he has to really work around that, and he does a really good job. So I would give Ben more flexibility because he's a smaller artist than the artists that we're used to seeing. And a lot of conversations that we've had over the last, 6 to 12 months. Perfect example. I'm looking at Ben's YouTube page right now, 53.1 thousand subscribers. So for me to look at his video, I'm not going to eat it up because he's a small-time creator. And I don't know if he's touring. I have no idea. But I know that he's probably going to have a very different budget than the videos that we're used to. So for me to look at him and say, I can kind of see this dude in the store, I can see him grabbing some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and they'd be like, hey, Roscoe, what's up, man? I saw your videos. You're pretty handsome and funny. And I'd be like, thanks, Ben. I like your stuff too. You want to go get a coffee? That's nice. And I think he would say yes. I don't know what the point of any of that. I have no idea. But I give him some props because that is not easy to pull off. I would generally guess there's going to be 2 safety divers. One on each side, maybe, but because of budget, it's probably going to be 1 safety diver. And the one part that I thought might be tricky is when you do not shots like this, when you do music videos, you have to hear the music, right? And then you lip sync and you play along with that music. I'm going to guess that he probably, because he wrote the song, obviously, he knows kind of the perfect tempo. And then he goes down there and he just does it. As soon as he's out of breath, the diver reaches over with oxygen. He takes a couple more and then he keeps going. That's my guess, right? He's not a free diver. He's not going to be sitting down there for 6 minutes like Lydia. It's another music video, Lydia. But that's a lot of choreography. It's a lot of risk, but it's really well done.